I never thought I'd be the guy posting about this. You hear about cheaters all the time, but it's different when it happens to you. When the person you love, the person you trust, turns out to be a liar. A backstabbing, sneaky, manipulative liar. It started small, as these things always do. My wife, Lauren, had been acting different for months. At first, I thought I was imagining it. She was on her phone more, dressing nicer, going for walks in the evening. But the biggest red flag? The way she started talking about our neighbor, Adam. Oh, Adam is so handy. He fixed their fence all by himself. Did you know Adam runs 5 miles every morning? I wish I had that kind of dedication. Adam's wife doesn't even appreciate him. It's so sad. I should have seen it right then. But I trusted her. I figured she was just being friendly. Hell, Adam and I even drank beers together a few times. I had grilled burgers with the man who was secretly screwing my wife. I finally decided to test her. One night, when she said she was going to the store, I waited 5 minutes, then followed her. She didn't go to the store. She walked straight to Adam's house. I parked down the street, my heart pounding. Part of me hoped I was wrong, that maybe she just wanted to borrow something or say hi. But when I saw his porch light turn off and the two of them disappear inside, I knew. I sat there, gripping the steering wheel so hard my fingers went numb. I didn't storm in. I didn't make a scene. No, I needed proof. Real proof. So I drove home, my mind racing, and did something I never thought I'd do. I went through her phone, and that's when I found everything. Text messages, pictures, plans to meet up, jokes about how clueless I was. I wasn't heartbroken. I wasn't even sad. I was furious. But I wasn't going to scream at her. I wasn't going to throw things or beg for answers. If she wanted to play dirty, I'd show her just how low I could go. And I knew exactly where to start. With her best friend. I didn't say anything that night. Lauren came home an hour later, all smiles, carrying a single grocery bag like she actually went to the store. She kissed me on the cheek, sat on the couch, and acted like nothing happened. I just watched her. She had no idea I knew. That's when I realized how easy lying was for her. How effortless. That stung more than anything. But I wasn't going to cry about it. I was going to make her pay. The next day, I played the role of the loving, clueless husband. I kissed her goodbye, told her I had a work meeting, and left like usual. But instead of going to the office, I drove somewhere else. To Rachel's house. Rachel was Lauren's best friend. They had known each other since college. They gossiped together, got drunk together, told each other everything. Or at least, Lauren told Rachel everything. The second Rachel opened the door and saw me standing there, she looked confused. Hey, what's up? I forced a smile. Can I come in? She hesitated for a second, then stepped aside. Sure, is everything okay? I walked past her, sat on her couch, and pulled out my phone. I didn't waste time. I opened the messages, the proof, and handed it to her. She scrolled, her eyes widening, her face twisting with every text she read. No, she whispered. No way. She wouldn't do this. She did, I said. With Adam. For months. Rachel's hands were shaking. That bitch. I leaned forward. I want to destroy her. Rachel looked up at me. She wasn't just mad. She was livid. Tell me what you need. I hesitated for half a second. This was the moment. The line I was about to cross. Then I said it. I need you. Her breath caught in her throat. You mean? Yes. Silence. For a moment, I thought she was going to slap me, throw me out, tell me I was insane. But then, she smirked. And just like that, we had a deal. Lauren wanted to betray me? Fine. I'd show her how it really feels. Rachel didn't hesitate. She wanted this just as much as I did. Maybe it was the anger. Maybe it was the betrayal. Maybe it was the fact that Rachel had always been a little jealous of Lauren. She just never admitted it until now. But none of that mattered. What mattered was that she was in. You sure about this? I asked, giving her one last chance to back out. Rachel just laughed. Oh, I've been waiting for an excuse to screw her over for years. That was all I needed to hear. It started slow. A few harmless text messages between me and Rachel. Just enough to lay the groundwork. Flirty, teasing, nothing too obvious. Lauren always bragged that she never got jealous, but I knew better. Then, a few not-so-harmless things. Rachel started liking all my Instagram pictures, commenting under them, dropping inside jokes that only she and Lauren would understand. And when Lauren finally noticed, that's when I turned it up a notch. I made sure to leave my phone face up on the kitchen counter one evening while I was in the shower. And just as planned, Rachel texted me. Rachel, last night was fun, winking face. We should do that again soon. It was a trap. I barely stepped out of the shower before I heard Lauren screaming. What the hell is this? I walked into the bedroom, acting confused, towel around my waist. What's what? She spun around, phone shaking in her hand. My phone. Rachel, last night was fun? What the F*** is going on? I grabbed the phone and smirked. Well, so suddenly you care about cheating. Her face drained of color. She knew right then that she had walked straight into my trap. You're sleeping with Rachel? She shrieked. I shrugged. Are you sleeping with Adam? Boom. Silence. She froze. Her mouth opened, then closed, then opened again, like she was trying to find the right lie but couldn't. I didn't give her the chance. I leaned in close, whispering in her ear, my voice cold. I know everything, Lauren. Every text. Every visit to his house. Every time you told him you wished you could be with him instead. Her body stiffened. I stepped back, watching the panic spread across her face. And then? She did exactly what I knew she would. She started crying. But I wasn't falling for it. You don't understand, she whimpered. It wasn't serious. I never meant to hurt you. I just laughed. Right. And I'm sure Adam's wife will feel the same way when I show her these messages. Her eyes went wide. No, you wouldn't. I smirked. Watch me. And then, for the first time all night, Lauren finally understood something. She lost. And I wasn't done yet. Lauren stood there, frozen. The fake tears stopped as soon as she realized I wasn't buying her act. Now, all that was left was panic. You're bluffing, she muttered, her voice shaky. I just smiled. Am I? She lunged for my phone, but I was faster. I stepped back, holding it just out of her reach. You really think you can just erase everything and make this go away? You don't control the situation anymore, Lauren. Her expression shifted from fear to rage. You're disgusting, she spat. You went after my best friend? I couldn't help but laugh. You went after our neighbor. In our own backyard, no less. But suddenly, I'm the bad guy. She clenched her fists. It's not the same. Really? I crossed my arms. Explain it to me, then. Because from where I'm standing, the only difference is that I got caught on purpose. That shut her up. I could see the gears turning in her head, trying to figure out a way to twist this in her favor. But there was no way out. She had lost. And I was about to make sure she felt every second of it. You know what's funny? I continued, pacing around the bedroom. Rachel didn't hesitate. The second I told her what you did, she was all in. No guilt, no second thoughts, nothing. Almost like she's been waiting for an excuse. Lauren's eye twitched. You're lying. Oh, am I? I pulled up another text from Rachel and read it aloud. Rachel, TBH, I never understood what you saw in her anyway. She's always been selfish. You deserve better. Lauren's face twisted. She would never say that. I flipped the phone around so she could see it with her own eyes. You sure about that? Her breathing turned shallow. She snatched the phone from my hand, scrolling through the messages. The realization hit her hard. Rachel had betrayed her just as easily as she had betrayed me. I could practically see the cracks forming in her head. Everything she thought she controlled was slipping away. And I wasn't done. I wonder what Adam's wife will think when she sees those messages, I mused, grabbing my phone back. She always seemed nice. Deserves better, don't you think? Lauren's entire body stiffened. No, she blurted. Please. Don't do that. Why not? I tilted my head. You weren't thinking about her when you were screwing her husband. She stumbled back, gripping the edge of the bed like her legs were about to give out. This will ruin everything, she whispered. I grinned. That's the point. Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. She was helpless. For the first time, she was the one afraid of losing everything. And I was just getting started. Lauren looked like she was about to pass out. Her face had gone pale. Her breathing was shallow, and for the first time since this whole mess started, she knew she wasn't in control. I had her exactly where I wanted her. But I wasn't satisfied yet. You know, I said casually, scrolling through my phone, Adam's wife is a really nice woman. I always felt bad for her, being married to a sleazebag like that. Maybe she'd like to grab coffee, talk things out. Lauren lunged at me. I sidestepped easily. She was desperate now, her hand shaking as she tried to grab my phone again. Stop. Please. You can't do this to me. I caught her wrists, forcing her to look me in the eye. You did this to yourself. She started crying again, but it was different this time. It wasn't an act. It was real fear. Look, I messed up, okay? She said quickly, words tumbling out in a panic. But you don't have to blow everything up. We can fix this. I laughed. A deep, genuine laugh. Fix this? You really think I'd ever forgive you? That I'd ever trust you again? Her face twisted. It was just a mistake. I shook my head. A mistake is forgetting to buy milk at the store. You had a whole-ass relationship behind my back. That's not a mistake. That's a choice. She wiped her eyes, trying to compose herself. Look, we don't have to end things like this. I'll break it off with Adam, I swear. I'll do whatever you want. I smirked. You already did. Confusion flickered across her face. What? I pulled up my messages and showed her the screenshots. Adam's wife already knew everything. Lauren's jaw dropped. Her voice cracked. You already told her? I nodded. Oh yeah. She was very interested in the screenshots. She's probably confronting Adam right now. Lauren collapsed onto the bed, her hands gripping her head. Oh my God. Oh my God. I stared at her, no sympathy left in me. Hope it was worth it. Her whole body shook. You ruined my life, she whispered. I leaned in, my voice cold. No, you ruined mine. I just made sure you felt it too. She didn't have a response for that. She just sat there, broken, while I grabbed my keys and walked toward the door. Where are you going? She asked, voice trembling. I turned back, grinning. To Rachel's. And with that, I walked out. I walked out of the house, leaving Lauren sitting there like a broken doll. She didn't chase after me. She knew it was pointless. But I wasn't done yet. Rachel was waiting for me. The drive over felt surreal. My heart wasn't racing. I wasn't panicked. I was calm, colder than I had ever been in my life. This wasn't about emotions anymore. This was about control. By the time I pulled up to Rachel's place, she was already at the door, arms crossed, a smug smile on her lips. Took you long enough. I stepped inside without a word. She closed the door behind me. So how'd it go? I smirked. Exactly how we planned. She grinned. God, I wish I could have seen her face. I sat on her couch, stretching my arms. Oh, trust me. It was beautiful. Rachel sauntered over, sitting next to me, her fingers trailing along my arm. So what now? I turned to her, letting the tension build. Now? We celebrate. She bit her lip. And how exactly do you want to celebrate? I leaned in, my voice a whisper. I think you already know. Her breath hitched. She had been waiting for this moment just as much as I had. But before anything could happen, my phone buzzed. Lauren. I ignored it. Then, another buzz. And another. My phone was practically vibrating off the table. Rachel raised an eyebrow. She's desperate. I sighed, grabbed my phone, and checked the messages. Lauren, you need to come home. Now. Lauren, this isn't funny. Please. It's serious. Lauren, I think Adam's wife just kicked him out. He's at our house. He's pissed. I stared at the screen, a slow grin spreading across my face. This night was getting better and better. Rachel leaned over my shoulder, reading the messages. She let out a low whistle. Well, isn't that interesting? I laughed, shaking my head. He really thought he was going to get away with it. Rachel stretched, standing up. So what's the plan? Gonna go home and see the fireworks. I thought about it for a second. Then, I stood up too. No, I said. I think I'll let them sweat for a little while. Rachel smirked. I like the way you think. She grabbed my hand and led me toward the bedroom. Lauren could wait. Right now, I had better things to do. Lauren was blowing up my phone, but I didn't care. Let her deal with the mess she created. Right now, I had other priorities. Rachel pulled me into her bedroom, a wicked smile on her face. You sure you're ready for this? She teased. I smirked. I've never been more sure of anything. The second our lips met, everything else faded away. For the first time in months, I wasn't thinking about Lauren, about betrayal, about revenge. I was just in the moment. And Rachel? She wasn't holding back either. I wasn't sure how long we were tangled up in each other, but by the time we finally collapsed onto the bed, breathless and spent, my phone had 20 missed calls. Rachel glanced at the screen and snorted. She's losing her mind. I leaned back against the pillows, completely at ease. Good. She rolled onto her side, tracing a finger along my chest. So what now? I exhaled, thinking for a moment. Now, I go home and watch everything fall apart. I grabbed my phone and finally answered Lauren's call. The second she heard my voice, she screamed, "Where the hell are you?" I chuckled. Relax, babe. I was just out celebrating. Are you? Her voice dropped to a whisper. Are you with Rachel? I smirked. What do you think? Silence. Then, a choked sob. I sat up, suddenly annoyed. You're calling me like a lunatic. What do you want? She sniffled, trying to steady her voice. It's Adam. He's losing it. I almost laughed. Oh, you mean your boyfriend? What, he didn't like getting kicked out? It's not funny, she snapped. He's at the house right now. He's drunk. He's breaking things. I frowned. That wasn't part of the plan. What do you mean, breaking things? A loud crash came through the phone, followed by Lauren screaming. He just kicked a hole in the wall. I sat up straight, my mind shifting gears. Where are you? I'm in the bathroom. I locked the door, but I don't know what he's going to do next. For the first time that night, I felt a flicker of concern. I wanted to hurt Lauren, sure, but not like this. Rachel noticed my expression change. What's going on? I didn't answer. I just grabbed my keys and said, I need to handle something. She didn't stop me. She just gave me a knowing look. Go finish what you started. I nodded and headed out the door. It was time to put an end to this once and for all. I floored it the entire way home, gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. Lauren was supposed to suffer, to feel betrayed, to watch everything she had crumble, but not like this. Not locked in a bathroom while some drunk asshole smashed up my house. When I pulled into the driveway, the first thing I saw was my front porch light swinging. Like someone had been pacing. Or waiting. I barely had time to kill the engine before I heard another loud crash from inside. I jumped out of the car, heart pounding. The second I opened the door, I saw Adam. Drunk. Red-faced. Sweating. And holding one of my dining room chairs. My broken dining room chair. The bastard had thrown it at the wall. His eyes snapped to me, unfocused but still full of rage. "Oh, look who finally decided to come home," he slurred. "Outscrewing my wife's best friend?" I smirked. "You mad because I got to yours first?" That did it. He charged at me. I barely had time to brace before he swung. I ducked. His fist whiffed past my head. He was fast, but too drunk to aim. I grabbed him by the collar and shoved him backward. He stumbled and crashed into the coffee table, knocking over a lamp. Lauren's scream came from upstairs. "Stop it." Adam pushed himself up, panting. "You think you're better than me?" He wiped his mouth, eyes wild. "You think you won?" I grinned. "I know I did." He let out a roar and rushed me again. This time, I didn't dodge. I threw a punch straight into his gut. He folded like a damn lawn chair. Then I grabbed him by the back of his shirt and dragged him to the front door. He was coughing, struggling, but he couldn't fight back. Not anymore. I threw him out onto the porch, slamming the door behind him. For a second, all I could hear was my own breathing. Then Lauren. She was standing on the stairs, tears streaming down her face. She looked at me like she had never seen me before. And maybe she really hadn't. "You're a monster," she whispered. I laughed. A deep, genuine laugh. "No, Lauren. You are. You just don't like seeing what happens when someone plays your game better than you." She opened her mouth to argue, then stopped. Because she knew. She lost. And now? I was finally done with her. I walked past her, grabbed my already packed bag from the hallway, and headed for the door. Lauren sniffled. "Where are you going?" I didn't even look back. Anywhere but here. And just like that, I was gone. I didn't look back. Not once. Lauren could rot in that house with the mess she created. Adam could crawl back to whatever hole he came from. I was done. I got in my car, slammed the door shut, and just breathed. For the first time in weeks, the weight on my chest felt lighter. The anger was still there, sure. But now, it wasn't controlling me. My phone buzzed. I already knew who it was before I looked. "Lauren, please don't do this." "Lauren, I can't believe you just left." "Lauren, can we talk? Please." I turned off my phone. I didn't need to hear her excuses. I didn't need her fake regret. She wasn't sorry for cheating, she was sorry she got caught. And I wasn't falling for it. I pulled out of the driveway, my mind already focused on the only person who actually mattered right now. Rachel. Because unlike Lauren, Rachel had my back. She helped me ruin Lauren's life without hesitation. And if I was being honest, she wasn't just revenge anymore. I actually liked her. I wasn't sure if this thing between us was serious or just an extension of the chaos. But one thing was certain, I wasn't done with her yet. By the time I pulled up to Rachel's house, she was already outside, leaning against her doorframe, arms crossed, smirking. "Took you long enough," she teased. I stepped out of the car, running a hand through my hair. Had to take out the trash first. She laughed. "And? How's the happy couple?" "Ruined." I smirked. "Just how we planned." She walked up to me, close enough that I could smell her perfume. "And now?" I tilted my head, pretending to think. "Now? I need a drink." Rachel grinned. "Then get inside." I just opened a bottle. I followed her in, letting the door close behind me. Lauren's desperation, Adam's rage, all of it, it didn't matter anymore. Because for the first time in a long time, I was exactly where I wanted to be. Rachel handed me a glass of whiskey, her eyes locked on mine as I took the first sip. It burned, but in a good way, like a reminder that I was free. I sank into her couch, letting the tension drain from my body. "You have no idea how good this feels." Rachel smirked, curling up next to me. "Oh, I think I do." She rested her head on my shoulder, and for the first time in months, I felt something close to peace. No lies. No secrets. Just this moment. Then, my phone buzzed. I ignored it. Then another buzz. And another. Rachel groaned. "She's really not giving up, huh?" I sighed and grabbed my phone. I wasn't planning to answer, but the last message caught my eye. "Lauren, I swear, if you don't answer me, you're going to regret it." I chuckled. She still thought she had power over me. Rachel peeked at the screen. "Oh, threats now? How original." I shook my head. Let her throw her tantrum. I don't care. Rachel smirked. "That's the spirit. Let the bitch drown in her own drama." I turned my phone off completely and set it on the table. Lauren didn't matter. Not anymore. Rachel climbed onto my lap, tracing a finger down my chest. Now that we got rid of the distractions, she leaned in, her lips just inches from mine. Where were we? I smirked. Right about here. And just like that, I lost myself in her. Lauren could scream into the void all she wanted. I had moved on. The next morning, I woke up feeling different. Not guilty, not conflicted, just done. Rachel was still asleep, curled up next to me, her breathing slow and steady. The night before had been exactly what I needed. A final, undeniable reminder that Lauren had lost me for good. I slipped out of bed, grabbed my phone from the nightstand, and turned it back on. 67 messages. Most from Lauren. A few from mutual friends. One from Adam's wife. I smirked. That one, I was interested in. I opened it. Adam's wife, hey, just wanted to say thanks for telling me the truth. Kicked his ass out last night. I'm filing for divorce. Good. I typed back. Glad to hear it. You deserve better. Then, I moved on to Lauren's messages. Most of them were desperate. Lauren, can we just talk? Lauren, I know I messed up, but you don't have to throw everything away. Lauren, I miss you. Please. And then, as expected, when begging didn't work, she switched to rage. Lauren, you're disgusting. I can't believe you ran to Rachel like some pathetic revenge move. Lauren, you're no better than me. Lauren, if you had any self-respect, you'd stop acting like a damn child. I laughed. She was spiraling. And the best part? There was nothing she could do about it. Rachel stirred next to me, stretching with a sleepy smirk. Good morning, troublemaker. I kissed her forehead. Morning. She sat up, rubbing her eyes. Anything interesting? I handed her my phone. Lauren's losing it. Rachel read through the messages, rolling her eyes. Wow, you're no better than me? That's rich. I shrugged. She's desperate. Rachel smirked. Let's make her more desperate. I raised an eyebrow. What are you thinking? She grabbed my phone, flipped the camera to selfie mode, and pulled me in close. Snap. A perfect shot of the two of us. Her wrapped in my sheets, me grinning like I had won. Because I had. Rachel typed a quick message and hit send. Lauren, scene 8:37 a.m. No response. Rachel giggled, tossing my phone aside. I think we broke her. I leaned back, satisfied. Good. Lauren didn't respond. Not immediately. Not an hour later. Not even that night. For the first time since this whole thing started, she finally shut up. I had won. Rachel and I spent the day together, completely unbothered. We got breakfast, laughed about the whole situation, and for the first time in forever, I felt free. No weight on my chest. No burning anger in my gut. Just relief. That night, as I was getting ready to crash at Rachel's place again, my phone buzzed one last time. Lauren, I get it now. You were never the man I thought you were. I smirked. I typed back, neither were you. Blocked her number. Deleted every picture. Every memory. And just like that, Lauren no longer existed to me. The next few weeks were a blur. Lawyers. Divorce papers. Mutual friends choosing sides. Adam. He tried to apologize, tried to talk things out like we could somehow fix what he did. I just laughed in his face. Lauren? She begged for another chance more times than I could count. But by then, I had completely moved on. And Rachel? Well, what started as revenge turned into something more. Turns out, she wasn't just a way to get back at Lauren. She was the upgrade I never knew I needed. Months later, when my divorce was finalized, she showed up at my place with a bottle of champagne. To freedom, she said, clinking her glass against mine. I grinned. To better choices. And as I looked at her, sitting across from me, completely unbothered by the chaos we had caused together, I knew I had made the right one.